Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 19 of Visions of Tomorrow, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection of VisionGT concept cars. And in this particular pick we are featuring the second version of an existing VGT car, the first official VGT car in fact, the Mercedes VisionGT. Now the existing version of the Mercedes VGT is already a brilliant car. In fact, it's one of the best VGTs we've had because, among other things, it's tunable. And not just tunable, but also upgradable. And it's a real shame that others aren't, because the potential that they could have is really showcased by just how fast the Mercedes VGT is. It's one of the most powerful cars in the game, one of the quickest cars around Special Stage Route X, and just one of the most useful VGTs so far. So this car has a lot to live up to, and this is of course the racing model, the RS as it were, of the VGT. So it's more of a track inclined model. It has the larger rear wing, among some other styling changes. It has a slightly different louvered back end where the rear window would usually be. And also, interestingly, the wing mirrors, or rear view mirrors, are also different. They are actual mirrors instead of rear view cameras, as they are on the regular model. Now, like the regular model, it's powered by a 5.5 litre turbo engine, it's front engine, but this car is not upgradable. It is tunable, but unfortunately the lack of upgrades really does hinder this car. And I really don't understand why they chose to do that. Why make the original upgradable, but then the upgraded version not upgradable? That seems kind of ironic and disappointing at the same time, because considering that this is already more powerful than the normal model is to begin with, it has more potential. So it seems a complete waste of time not allowing this car to reach that potential. Now 620 horsepower and 634 foot-pounds of torque is not bad by any means, and it's not a slow car either. It is a true supercar, and it can get around a track, numerous tracks in fact, in good times. But the lack of upgrades mean that in a straight line, for instance, it's never going to come anywhere near the 1100 horsepower normal model, or pretty much any other supercar in the game for that matter. It also weighs 1300 kilos, which, although not bad by any means, is still pretty heavy. As far as PP, it is higher, 632, but I just can't recommend racing it at that level. It's just not quick enough. Now, on a certain track with a certain driver under a certain circumstance, this car may be capable of winning races, but it's just not really justified in existing. I get the concept of the car, but it just doesn't live up to that concept. It completely squanders the opportunity which it has to be an even better, more hardcore, more extreme version of the existing Mercedes VGT, in a similar way to what the Nismo version of the GTR ended up doing to the GTR. It took what it was already brilliant at and took it to the next level, so much so that the GTR Nismo is pretty much the fastest street car in the game for overall straight line performance. This could have done that for Mercedes, so I really just don't understand why they didn't let us upgrade it. It makes no sense at all. Then compound on top of that the fact that this is more expensive than literally any of the other VGTs. It's double the price. 2 million credits for a car which can't even be upgraded. That's just a complete waste of money. Now, this is not going to be in the boat series, the better off avoiding these series, because it is at least unique and it does offer some differences to the normal model. But overall, it's just a disappointment to me. This car has so much potential and it just doesn't live up to it. The top speed isn't bad, but it's not amazing. The acceleration is the same. The handling's pretty good, but it could be even better if we were allowed to upgrade it. And the specs just aren't what it deserves to be overall. It's certainly not worth double the price of the regular model, unless you're purely interested in the car regardless. of what it's like to drive. If you just like the car and don't really care if it's any good, then of course check it out. But if you're looking for something which is actually useful for that kind of money, bearing in mind that that is the same price as, for instance, a Ferrari FXX, it's just not worth that. So overall, would I recommend checking it out? Well, as I said, if you want to check it out, but just don't expect too much from the car. Overall, I would say that the best thing about this car is probably that it makes a pretty good drift machine. Apart from that, it's kind of uninspiring. But that's it overall for this particular episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.